Heavy rain overnight and continuing as we start great day. Yep, it's going to be raining out there quite a bit this morning. We'll let you know what's going on with this storm. Plus, did you know there was a tornado warning last night? I'll let you know where that happened coming up.
The tit for tat between the U.S. and China now boiling over following threats from President Trump. A look at the latest developments in the ongoing trade war and why China's promise to retaliate against U.S. tariffs may be on the back burner for now.
Members of the Senate returned to Capitol Hill today as Congress remains gridlocked over a funding agreement to end this government shutdown.
We're barreling toward one of the longest shutdowns in American history unless Democrats drop their partisan demands and pass a clean, no-strings-attached budget to reopen the government and pay our federal workers.
We need them to stand strong because this is important to our families, and they're standing up for families right now, and that's very important. We also need them to get the health care costs lowered.
What strategy Republican lawmakers could employ if the GOP's continuing resolution fails again today, and why it may be causing division within the party?
Leaders in Los Angeles County will vote on whether to declare a state of emergency over federal immigration raids. How doing so would help alleviate hardships for people being targeted in the White House's crackdown on immigration.
You're watching Fox 26, and now, great day.
We begin this hour with a live look at traffic this morning. You are looking at Highway 99 near Jensen Avenue, as well as Highway 99 through Selma. The roads are slick this morning as the rain continues, the first measurable rainfall we've gotten in a while. With traffic expected to pick up as you head to work or drop off your kids at school, we want to remind you, take your time, leave early if you can, so you can have a safe drive. And it's so important to remain alert, especially if your car starts to hydroplane like mine did this morning. Good morning, by the way. I'm Liz Gonzalez. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm Carl Cook.
And I'm Justin Willis. Thank you for joining us. You hydroplaned this morning?
I hydroplaned, thankfully not on the highway.
Oh,
I was
still.
so thankful. I was coming on the off-ramp from 180 to Peach, and all of a sudden my car just went,
wow.
And it's one of those where you have to just take your hands off of everything. No car was coming. Thankfully, I had the green light. It was a turn signal, but it's one of those things where I'm glad it happened on the surface streets and not on the highway, because I did pass one big rig that is jackknifed already, and there was another fender bender on the 99 North coming in from Selma. So
that's what happens. You got to take it easy out there. Yeah, it's been raining all night. We've had, I think we had a quarter of an inch in just a few hours time there, and when it's all said and done, it's going to be maybe even up to a couple inches.
Give yourself plenty of time, and you'd rather, if you can, just again leave early if you can. Don't feel like you have don't even feel like if you have to drive the speed limit, because sometimes that might be even too much depending on how much rainfall's coming down.
It is, yeah. I think I was going like 50 on the highway this morning.
Yeah, that's the
like
message.
This.
Just be safe. Just be careful. Take those precautions.
Yeah, even 50 felt too fast. But
yeah, it did.
But yeah, so it's going to be slick out there, and this heavy rain is really likely going to last us through the morning and then some places into the latter parts of the afternoon. So let's see how the day is shaping up for you right now. Get your current conditions going, which includes your live radar here. And you can kind of see where it's heaviest right now. Those yellow and orange, red shaded areas. Heaviest areas there. Fresno area up along the foothills getting some flooding right now. And then down to southwest Fresno County too. Looks like Avenal, Coalinga, those areas getting some heavy rain at this hour here. We'll keep an eye on this radar for you throughout the morning here and see how things shift for us with this rain, because things are shifting with it. Like I said, we had a tornado warning, and that was over in San Luis Obispo County. Right now, it is raining outside. 53 degrees out there. Winds picking up too with 13 miles an hour. Might feel a little stormy out there at the moment too, and the dew point is at 50 degrees. All right, here's the rest of the day. At 10 a.m., 56. At noon, 57. 5 o'clock, still at 57 degrees. In fact, it's going to be much cooler out there today. I think we're only going to top out in the 50s in some places. So it's a cool winter storm working its way through. Chances of rain, by the way, will diminish in the latter parts of the morning here, and just kind of going off and on throughout the rest of the day. But coming up next, we're going to break down what's going on with this current storm here. It is your next weather maker here, and we've got a bunch of alerts to tell you about that go right along with it. Details coming up.
Time is now 5:04. The U.S. and China are imposing new port fees on each other's ships today in the middle of the threat of even more tariff hikes. That's according to the U.S. Trade Representative and the Chinese Ministry of Transport. The fees are part of escalating trade policies between the two countries. Chinese analysts accuse the U.S. of starting this latest tit for tat by imposing new export controls last month. They say that's why China recently tightened restrictions on rare earth minerals. As a result, President Trump is threatening a triple-digit tariff hike on Chinese imports by November 1st.
This is China versus the world. They have pointed a bazooka at the supply chains and the industrial base of the entire free world. And, we're not going to have it.
The President of the United States has far more cards than the People's Republic of China. If, however, they're willing to be reasonable, then Donald Trump is always willing to be a reasonable negotiator.
Beijing is warning of retaliation if the 100% tariff on imports is imposed, but it's unclear if that will happen after President Trump seemed to backtrack on his previous threat, commenting that U.S.-China relations are fine and remain strong, optimism which saw stocks rally yesterday. Meanwhile, both sides say they'd prefer a resolution. President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are set to meet face-to-face in Korea at the end of the month. Treasury Secretary Bissett says that he believes that meeting is still on.
Take a live look outside right now. This is on McKinley Avenue, and you can see the roads are pretty wet out there right now. Yeah, it's pretty wet all over the valley right now, as a matter of fact, and it's been coming down pretty good overnight here. Not gonna lie, rain woke me up at one point this morning here, so it's been coming down pretty heavy, and will continue to do so as the morning goes on there. But yeah, that's McKinley Avenue right now. Really, you look outside anywhere, it's pretty much raining all over the valley right now. All right, let's get a look and show you what's going on with why this is happening here. So yeah, this area of low pressure has just been hanging out here right over the Bay Area, and you can kind of see how it's spinning all this precip up into the valley, and you kind of see it's just coming from south to north as it spins in there, bringing some really heavy rain to our region here, and it's going to be lasting us here for a while here. So check it out. Tracking it at this hour, you can kind of see they've had some heavy precip there down in Southern California. In fact, they've had some thunderstorm alerts going on right there, which I'll show you in just a bit here. And you kind of see, again, spinning this direction here, coming from south into north, and really just going to be plowing up into the hills and mountains. They're bringing some flash flooding to some places here. Here's a look at things at 11 o'clock here. Backing off just a tad in the Fresno area there, but will be lingering throughout the day. Things could pick up occasionally throughout the afternoon there by 5 o'clock. You can kind of see still some heavy snow there. Thankfully, things will have broken up down in Southern California by that time here, moving to the east there. And then by tonight, things will have pretty much broken up for the most part, except for the northern part of the state and the northern Sierra, where they're looking at some heavy snow. Then continuing overnight there in the northern regions. It'll be done tomorrow. Should be just a little on the cloudy side tomorrow, but that's about it. And then we'll be done for the rest of the week in terms of rain. That rain is just happening today. Here's what we're accumulating. All right, so up at Tioga Pass, they're looking at nearly 2 feet of snow up there. Everybody else, Mariposa, Oakhurst, just 2 inches of rain there, but then you get over to Shaver Lake, where it's going to be 3 inches of snow once it's all said and done, 6 inches over at Sequoia National Park. On the valley floor, we're looking at 1.5 inches of rain in Merced, Madera, Fresno, and Visalia. Same for Porterville and Delano there, and then maybe just like 1 inch out on the west side there. So it's quite a bit of rain over the course of a day. That's a lot. So we're going to see some flooding out there today. In fact, likely seeing some right now wherever you are. All right, so here are the alerts. We got a lot going on with it here. Of course, there's a flood watch in effect. That's all along the foothills and mountains there. Excessive runoff in addition to the rain they're seeing there. Winter storm warning, yep, for the high Sierra there. This is going to be in effect until tomorrow afternoon there. Getting a lot of snow up there, and it's going to be very windy and gusty at times. How cold is it going to be? Well, enough to get a freeze warning over there along the Owens Valley there. That's going to be in effect late tonight into tomorrow morning. Temperatures getting down to 27 degrees there. A little early start to the winter for them. And then we go down to the southern regions where we got a flood watch all along the coastline there. Yeah, that storm is really, the way it's blowing, just really pounding the coastline there. That flood watch is in effect until 3 o'clock this afternoon. And we also have a severe thunderstorm watch. Like I mentioned, we had it was about 11 o'clock last night. A lot of people who live over in San Luis Obispo got an alert on their phone saying that there was a tornado watch in effect there. It lasted about a half hour. I think it was 11:15 to 11:45 last night. So a rare alert issued there for San Luis Obispo County. already. But the thunderstorm watch, that's in effect for about another hour here. So not out of the woods there yet. They're probably waking up to some really heavy rain and really stormy conditions over there. There was some flash flooding going on there this hour as well over in San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara counties. So some pretty heavy stuff going on over there. Southern California really getting pounded right now. I think they're looking at 4 inches of rain up in those San Gabriel Mountains there. So it could be some mudslides, rock slides, those sort of things. Could be a lot of damage out of this storm down there. All right, today, yep, it's going to be raining all day, off and on at least 10 to 15 miles an hour in addition to that, but we're at 59. Now, that might seem pretty cold. That's like a winter temperature there for you, but we've been colder on this day in the past. I think the record is 54 degrees, but we're at 59 today. And then tomorrow, we're still way below normal with a 67. The normal, by the way, is 80 degrees. And then Thursday, we're at 69. So we're going to be staying cool here for a while, 40s overnight, but today is just the day for rain. Things will start clearing out for us and should be good to go for the rest of the week. All right, in just a little bit here, we're going to hop around the valley and check out the highs and lows where you live next.
Time is now 5:10. We have a heartbreaking update regarding the disappearance of a Coalinga mother. Over the weekend, search and rescue teams found a body believed to be that of Isabel Lucas Velasco. They'd been searching near Highway 198 west of Coalinga. The San Luis Obispo County Sheriff's Coroner's Office is now working on identification. That case is now considered a homicide, and we're told that 2 arrests have been made: Velasco's ex-boyfriend and his brother. Velasco had been missing since September 13th. A rough start to the week for one Fresno business owner after her shop was broken into. The owner of Barking Beauties showed up to broken doors and shattered windows Monday morning. Susan Hamilton says she was notified by a neighboring business that her shop had been burglarized. This is the second time in 11 years that her dog grooming business in along North Clovis Avenue has been broken into. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office says that security footage shows a man was in and out of the building very quickly. Hamilton says it's scary knowing that people were still able to get in despite security measures, including cameras, locks, and screen doors.
You never know when someone's going to break in or someone's going to attack you, and just keep your doors locked. And because even when things are locked up, which we are, as you know, we're heavily locked down, and we have cameras. They don't care. They come in with hoodies. They've got glasses on, and they're going to do it anyway.
Hamilton says that break-in happened on a day that she's closed, and she says that insurance will be doing its part to help with the damage. Fall in line or lose your media credentials. That is the Pentagon's message for reporters this morning. The consequences the journalists will face if they don't agree to new restrictive rules put in place by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Time is now 5:11.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.